morning, viewers. You're welcome to today's edition of Now Streaming, reaching you live from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria Television. I am your anchor, Smart Simon. Viewers, we look forward to having you join us on the show today as we discuss trending issues, trending news, and issues affecting us. I have with me in the studio today.
I'm Mojisola. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Spot. It's a beautiful day, and it's nice of you to join us today.
Also with us is Sir Barrister Patrice Aquara. He is a political analyst. You're welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
So, let's get into the trending news of today, Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. And we're starting with the Petroleum Industry Act. President Buhari seek amendment to Petroleum Industry Act. Barely 5 weeks after signing the Petroleum Industry Bill into law, President Muhammadu Buhari has written the National Assembly to seek administrative structure amendment of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, and confirmation of the appointment into the board of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. In the amendment reads, on Tuesday, by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, President Muhammadu Buhari said the amendment was necessary to achieve geopolitical balancing in representation on the non-executive board. The letter reads, in part, and I think it's good I should read this before we make our contribution. I wish to forward to the Senate the attached administrative structure amendment on the PIA for your kind consideration and approval. Having carefully reviewed the administrative structure of both the Commission on Authority, I would like to propose the following amendment to PIA. And there we have A, amendment of non-executive members, and B, removal of ministers of petroleum and finance from the board of the two institutions. Yes, Barrister, how do you see this?
Well, I think it's okay. It's I remember when the bill was on the floor of the Senate, and one of the senators pointed out one or two things. The Senate President said it was better they pass the bill and then there could be consequential amendments in future. So I think this is one of the consequential amendments. That is the aftermath, the consequences. When you're practicing something and things are evolving, then you now address the consequences. So it's part of the consequential amendment to the bill. Maybe they don't want those ministers to be overbearing, because they want the organs to be a limited liability company. So it means that the government should hands off, the administrative. You can't. I think government should not be involved in the running of a private company. So I think it's appropriate for them to do that amendment in order to also bring on board the geopolitical representation to reflect, federal character, which ironically the president has not represented in his appointments since he came in.
Okay. Anyway, by the way, he has claimed that he has ministers in all the states, so he has done.
What he's supposed
Yeah.
to
So, what are your thoughts, Moji, on this?
Well, I would say if you had seen a problem and somebody had pointed it out, maybe it should have been addressed before. I mean, before reading the details, my first instinct when I heard it was, didn't they read it properly? Like, I mean, it's less than 5 weeks. And so a part of me wants to say, like, how can you pass something into law and then shortly after you're seeking amendments? Is it that you didn't do it right the first time? Is it not too early to begin to have problems with it? So that's my own take on it.
Anyway, I think there is no document that is perfect.
Absolutely.
So sometimes when you go through them, nothing will occur. But after some time, it will dawn on you that there are certain things that actually ought to be there that are not there, and all that. So it's a good move. Particularly, I'm happy that there is consideration of federal character.
Which there should have been from the onset, really.
Of course.
There should have been that right from the beginning. It's not 5 weeks after that they suddenly realized that there's such a thing as federal character.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next trending news. Okonjo-Iweala meets Buhari in New York. Mobilizes vaccines manufacturers to Nigeria. The Director General of the World Trade Center, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, on Monday night met President Muhammadu Buhari, briefed him on her effort to mobilize COVID vaccine manufacturers to Nigeria. Moji, your thoughts?
I don't even know what to think.
It's a good thing to have your own somewhere, right?
It is a good thing to have
like
your
they
own
say,
somewhere.
that if your mom is always in the kitchen,
yes,
you always have the best
things
to
will
eat.
Happen.
So when you have your own out there, it will help you to see.
But she's still making efforts to mobilize manufacturers. I mean, it's been said severally that why don't we have manufacturers of the vaccine in Nigeria? But then, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a good thing. I mean, it sounds good, but the practice of it is what I now have issues with.
Okay.
What now happens to the regulation of the quality of the vaccine? I mean, we've not had a very good track record on. NAFDAC is doing a great job, and other agencies and all that, but we've not had such a great record or track record of excellence when it comes to manufacturing within the country. And that's for many reasons, power, all sorts of things. And so when I hear this, I'm like, okay, it's a good idea. It's doable. It's great. It sounds great on paper. In practice.
Okay. Now, this is what she's saying, that what we're trying to say is that the inequity in access to vaccines is not acceptable. The fact that on the African continent, less than 4% of us have been vaccinated, whereas in the rich countries, close to 50% have been vaccinated. It's not something that really is good for the world. Why? Because we have all these variants that are circulating, and if you don't vaccinate people, they will just migrate from unvaccinated to the vaccinated. Yes, Barrister.
Well, that's what happens when you put a square peg in a square hole. She's leveraging on her international contacts and connections to help Nigeria.
Yeah.
Let me be a little bit parochial. We have the Undersecretary to the UN General Assembly, I think Mrs. Hadiza. She's been there. They just put her there because she comes from their area. Without any international clout, she can't even think about that. But this woman, with her international clout, I think it's a very good decision the president made to support and sponsor her candidates to be the DG of WTO. And beyond just working there as DG of WTO, she's now leveraging on that her international clout. Because it's hypocritical for Western nations to insist on people being vaccinated, whereas if you go to the US today, they have millions of vaccines not in use that are even nearing expiry date. They are even talking about vaccinating young people, whereas in countries like Nigeria and some other places in Africa, a lot of adults have not even been vaccinated. And very soon, those vaccines, when they are about to near expiration, they will now ship it to Africa. And when they ship it to Africa, it will by the time you know it will expire. So good a thing that she had realized this and want to galvanize top politicians, people with contacts to, weigh it on these foreign nations to, remember and donate vaccines to Africa so that Africans will be vaccinated.
Yeah. Now,
I think she's not talking about donation. No. She's talking about manufacturing.
That's whatever it is. It's just manufacturing it in Nigeria.
Benny.
Wow. I don't think
that is what this conversation is about.
Manufacturing it in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Before you start manufacturing vaccine in Nigeria, you have to go through different stages of, it could be your laboratory. It's not something you do in a year. It's not, and this vaccine, people need to get vaccinated very soon. I heard that even in Edo State, I heard that if you are not vaccinated,
no vaccination, no work.
So, so I don't think
manufacture and the thing is this. Okay, so the example that was quoted was Pfizer announcing $100 million to invest in South Africa. But I'm saying, is it conducive for Pfizer to come to Nigeria and say they want to invest in manufacturing vaccines in Nigeria?
There's already an existing Pfizer company in Nigeria.
Yes.
So they can use that outlet.
How conducive has it been for them? And for every other investor?
Manufacturing drugs in Nigeria.
Yes, they have.
For decades. So.
Yeah. Now, what I'm saying on this issue of vaccination is the fact that Africans and Nigerians in particular are buying into the myth that those who take the vaccine will die between a year and two. That is that rumor that is being peddled out there. And so many people have refused to go get themselves vaccinated
because
you remember the issue of saying where they give you vaccine, it will come and all that. So these are some of the things. Whereas other countries of the world, 50% of the population have been vaccinated and nothing is happening. I don't know why we are buying into this kind of issues and have refused to get ourselves vaccinated. So the issue is not even manufacturing it here or having it. Have we convinced people enough to be able to come out and take the vaccine?
But when you also look at it from the flip side of it, even in these countries, like in America, I heard Biden, the president, say the other day that unvaccinated people are putting vaccinated people at risk. But it's supposed to be your vaccine that should protect you. It's not unvaccinated people that should protect you. What is the essence of vaccine? Vaccine is supposed to give you immunity from whatever
is coming.
Infection. So where you are vaccinated and you are
still scared of.
So it means that the thing is of no use in final analysis. When you look at it, when you analyze it.
But the what they say is the herd, how do you call it? Herd immunity principle is what they're working with here. But like you rightly said, those questions are in the minds of certain people. In fact, I saw on a lighter note, I saw on social media, somebody said the world is divided into two. The vaccinated and no, they said half of the world are waiting for the vaccinated to die in 2 years, and the other half, the vaccinated part of the world, is waiting for the unvaccinated to die in 2 years. So when you have such questions and such issues, on the mind of, and the truth about it is, if 50% of the developed world is vaccinated, that's still a very low percentage. That's just half.
But at least compared to our continent.
So I don't know.
All right, let's move on.
It will remain a myth. It will remain unacceptable to most African countries or communities, because in Western countries they have a reason to ramp up vaccination because of the high death rate.
The high death rate
over this period, since
2020.
But in some of African communities, there is no record of
nothing.
Like in most communities, in your village, is
Yeah.
there any record of any unprecedented or unusual death rate? No.
Some communities had, and then they eventually said it wasn't COVID, it was other things.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and then okay, so picking up from what Barrister said here, we have a whole lot of other health challenges that we're battling on a daily basis. So for many people, it doesn't even come up on their radar. We're having, I don't know if they've been able to clamp down on the cholera outbreak
the mortality rate for cholera is
in
even
the
higher
FCT and other states.
What
that has
about
been
the
rampaging.
mortality rate of poverty
There's
virus?
or the kidnapping. I mean, insurgency and insecurity in Nigeria has killed more people, more Nigerians than. So for a lot of people, COVID is like the least of their worries.
All right, so we have to move to the next topic. Of course, like you said, the myth will remain because about 300,000 die in the United States, but in Nigeria we are still under 3,000, right?
Yes.
So that is actually why people have not given attention to it. But COVID-19 is real.
Oh, absolutely.
So please,
there's no denying
That's
that.
the same way malaria is real.
And poverty and insurgency.
All right. So the next on the trending news is Jega Utomi, Duke, and others flood new political party. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, prominent Nigerians have established a third force, Rescue Nigeria project, to give Nigerians alternative platform to the All Progressive Congress APC and the People's Democratic Party. Founders of the RNP include former chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, and political economist Professor Pat Otumi, the former governor of Kwara, Ahmed Fatai, and former governor of Cross River, Donald Duke. Yes, you are the politician here.
Yes.
How do you see? What are your thoughts on this third force? Do you think they will give APC and PDP the
run for their money?
Ironically, your question didn't capture the question on media perception. It didn't capture what it's all about.
So what is the media
Please
perception?
tell us. Tell us what it's all about.
Yeah, what it's all about is these are, when you look at them, they are technocrats, professionals in their own right.
Which is exciting some of us.
Excellent. So their coming together is just about they want to articulate a process whereby Nigeria could look for the right person for the job. They're not talking about politics or political party. It's unfortunate because I monitored what they were, but I don't want to sound negative. How the media reportage and the slant they give to things.
Okay.
They part of what they're articulating is, can you ask a vulcanizer to do surgery? To remove your ear surgery, ear pain. You understand?
No.
So if you can't do that, why would you want to engage somebody who is not really vast in modern economics, in modern way of leadership, of running because of
An organization.
of an organization. If you cannot hire somebody who is very, very less qualified, so how can you want to hire somebody? Sorry, if you cannot hire somebody who is very less qualified to run your own small organization, how would you want to hire somebody who is much more less qualified to run a conglomerate like Nigeria? So they want to enthrone in our mindset in the first instance, because they believe that the problem of Nigeria is perception, mindset. The way we always, now when we talk about rulership or leadership in Nigeria, we'll talk about whether you are from, like Moji here is a Yoruba.
Whether it's from the south or from the north,
they don't even
whether
want
it's a Christian or a Muslim.
They are not even interested whether Moji has the capacity to manage Nigeria or not, just because Moji is from this part and they feel it's their own part.
Our turn.
You know.
So let her just go there.
Good, they want
and manage us just like that.
Or mismanage.
So they are coming from the angle of Nigeria should come up in the community of nations to do things the way things are done. Do you know that the present Prime Minister of Greece has about 5 PhDs?
The guy goes school well.
He has written several books on economy.
Wow.
On development.
So it's not an accidental leadership.
It's not accidental leadership.
He knows exactly what he's going to do.
Angela Merkel, that is retiring now, is a top-notch scientist. Are you talking of people like Barack Obama? You wouldn't know that he's a professor. He used to teach constitutional law in Yale University. Do you understand? So these are.
I read his book, Audacity of Obama. So I saw that.
Even in our neighboring country here, Ghana, most of their political actors, these are professionals who, by dint of hard work, are versed in various segments of
when they stand to address issues, you'll be happy that your president is talking.
Good. That's the part. That is the part
and
they are charting. This is the territory they are charting for Nigeria. So that Nigeria, if we can get it at that point, then enthrone the right leadership, then they believe that if somebody had built capacity, you understand, in where he's coming from, when you get to Nigeria, being the president of Nigeria or being the governor or local government chairman or whatever, you understand, you will be able to manage Nigeria.
I must say that's
sounding really exciting.
Good.
So it's
very
not political.
Good move.
It's
very
more procedural.
Good move. Very, very good. Because most of the times Nigerians are at the mercy of spokespersons and special advisor or media and publicity. When they say certain things, you wonder whether it's actually the president that is saying it. Let us have a president who from time to time will be bold enough and want to address Nigerians. This is what we are doing. This is what we are doing. This is what we are doing. I said it
in my Facebook post sometime last week. That the problem we have had in this country is that you see somebody who was vying for the post of president or governor. You go and get the best in the media. And best in the media because he has been well trained, starts talking on your behalf.
Yes.
This is the president's spokesman or Reverend Smart's spokesperson. And he starts dishing out very intelligent sounding opinion on extant issues. And he will put the name of his principal there. By the time, on account of those things, you elect that person. And when the person goes in there, he starts manufacturing opposite of
what the spokesperson has been
saying. To wonder. Let the president come out and speak for him. Unlike in the West, when Obama was there, when Trump was there, they were the ones doing their Facebook handle.
That one has always baffled me. Like, aren't they busy enough to respond to every tweet?
It's part of leadership.
Every tweet and every WhatsApp message.
Yeah, they believe it's part of they believe it's part of leadership. Leadership, you have to interface with the people you are leading.
It's okay.
All right. Any thought on this?
No, but I'm excited. I would really watch and see this. We've said it on the show before that what we need is a flip in the switch. And this looks like a step in a very
I'm
positive...
going to be following them closely to know what they are doing.
Yes.
Let's move to the next trending news. And is about 2023.
Still on 2023.
The Northern Elders give condition for Southerners to become next president.
They're yielding ground.
Can you imagine? The spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum, Hakeem Baba Ahmed, has given some conditions for a politician from the South to become the next president. Speaking on Arise TV on Tuesday, Baba Ahmed called on Nigerians to see beyond religious and ethnic sentiment during the 2023 general elections. He said the demand by the southern governors that the region must produce the next president was not presented properly. You cannot threaten us with violence and intimidation. We can read the Constitution. We know what it takes to be president. You have to score at least 25% in 24 states.
Okay.
There are no 24 states in the north, which means no northerner can become president unless he gets support from the southern part of the country. By the same token, no southerner can become president unless he gets support from the north. We understand this. We are not ignorant. We know there will be a time when someone from the south will become president. But it must be a president that will emerge through the political and electoral process. He must be a president that southerners and northerners vote like and vote to make him or her the president. Yes.
I'd like to just add what he said finally. He said it must be a Nigerian president, not an ethnic president, not a regional president, and not a religious president. You know, it's sounding very convenient.
It's okay, right?
6 years ago, this was not the story they were singing.
No, that was not the story.
Now, suddenly, it looks like it's going to shift from their point. Suddenly, we want a Nigerian president. We don't want a religious president. We don't want a tribal president.
Did we have that
6 years ago?
6 years ago.
Or even 2 years ago.
Was it what was said?
What was said 6 years ago, it was that no, it was not supposed to be Jonathan. It was still their turn. They've not finished their own turn. Suddenly, we're now Nigerians.
You are after that character. Yes, you know, I think in fairness to him, I wish, just like you said, I wish this reasoning had been constant. You know, but this reasoning appeared to be calendar based. 2015, it wasn't there. Now 2023 is approaching. They've resurrected it.
Now to say we need a Nigerian
president. They now started having intelligent, stellar thinking. But let us concede to him that no matter the anachronism, let me use that phrase, he still said the reality.
Oh yes, he says what we want.
So let us not bother with the messenger.
Okay.
Let's bother with the message. I think that's the way forward for Nigeria.
Yeah, to have
a true Nigerian president.
Nigerian president, not ethnicity,
not anything,
not religion, nothing but a Nigerian president. Someone competent to lead.
In line with the Rescue Nigeria Party, and how you explained it, I think it's time to even look at track record. What have you done in the last 10 years and you've been actually successful at before we begin to consider any other thing? I think so. I think that should be the mindset. Now, what have you done?
Let
us open the
track
books
record.
and see. You've been COO of an organization for the last 10 years. What have you achieved?
Because I've seen that most presidents, for example, in the United States, you always have them either serving governors or senators.
Even from the university days.
So let's see, when you were a student union governor, what did you be president? What did you do? When you became local government chairman, how did you empower your people? Then we will know that, yes, you have our interests at heart. It's not how much.
The Igbo man will say, let us have our own bite of the cherry before you start.
It has gone round. It hasn't gotten to. So they should produce somebody that has a track record.
There is no scarce. Exactly. There is no scarce There is no
we
scarcity
vote
of
for the
pen-
man.
There is
Honestly,
no scarcity of resourceful person in that.
There is
part
no
of the country.
scarcity. The
Let them-
scarcity they have is for them to support themselves.
No, I'm not-
Bring one
no,
person.
that is an old pedestrian sentence.
It's not.
No, because even when he was on to the north, Yaradua, Buhari, they are from the same state. They contested against each other.
And-
So all those
and
things is when
that one-
you are not
but-
really thinking about
see,
what you're saying, that's
even-
what you will say. But if you are thinking about what you're saying, you won't say because even when he was on to the north, two brothers from the same cat, even Atiku Abubakar joined them.
join in the fracas.
So,
But my own is
it's
even
democracy.
if you produce 5 people,
Yes.
bring them, no problem.
Good.
As
The more
long
the
as we
merrier.
can say
Let
that,
us-
okay, this man is a businessman and his business dealings, he has been X, Y, Z. These are the results.
Yes.
He can manage. He can manage his family well. He can
There is no
manage his
scarcity of
company
such
well.
resources.
I bring them now.
Yes.
I bring them. I'll
But the
happily
only thing
vote.
is let the first bridge we need to cross is, well, the tone is dying down now. But before it was, they were saying it everywhere as if you hand over
we're moving.
the presidency of this country to the Igbos, Nigeria will scatter.
I
Yeah.
don't
But
believe
now
so.
I think the conversation is narrowing down to.
I've never believed so.
Yeah. Well, the point I'm trying to make, maybe I was not understood.
Okay.
In 2015,
Mhm.
the moment the candidacy of Buhari emerged in APC, it is almost obvious that we know that this is where it's going to happen. At least, there are so many people contesting. But we
I think
know
it was just
that
for
the Northerners were having one particular person in mind who eventually emerged. Every support was galvanized towards making sure that this person emerged. So if we all have that kind of a thing, why not? So I'm not saying that there are no people who can contest. There are not so many people that should. But we should be able to, at the end of the day, zero in.
You should have said in their party, in the APC, because it was obvious that
at the end of the day, we should be able to have one person to zero in.
Incumbent president of PDP will be the PDP candidate. But at the level of APC, since you are talking of let them
come together.
They should have come together around one person without even going through primaries.
So
all right, please, we have to move on to the next one.
Bring him out to vote for him.
Still on 2023 presidency, Tinubu campaigning to rule Nigeria from London. And this is coming from Omokri. The popular socio-political activist Reno Omokri has accused Bola Tinubu, the national leader of all Progressive Congress APC, of campaigning for the presidency even from his sick bay in London. The former aide to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan made the remark in a tweet. I think this is an opinion tweet.
His opinion.
Yes. So, is he right?
It's his opinion.
Yeah, he's entitled to it.
And Tinubu is also entitled to campaign from anywhere.
But anywhere in the world,
Who says he will not?
in any state
Who
he's
says he will
in.
not recover tomorrow?
So where there is life, there is hope.
Of course, God can heal him tomorrow.
All right. So, all right.
But you didn't read the second part of that tweet, too.
Okay.
Yes, there's a second part. It says Bola Tinubu is campaigning to govern Nigeria from London. Buhari partially misgoverns Nigeria from London.
All right. I think that we'll
but
hold
that's
it there.
his opinion.
We shall be going on a short break, and when we return, we will continue with the headlines. Viewers, you're welcome back. This is still now streaming, and we continue with our headlines. The next here is Plateau Crisis. How our boss gave us gun to kill Christians. Suspect confesses. Following the incessant unrest in Plateau State, the police have arrested one Mr. Sanusi Lawali in Bauchi State over alleged kidnapping and armed robbery and other criminal activities. The suspect, while being paraded by the Commissioner of Police, Bauchi State Command, Sylvester Alabi, at the Bauchi State Command headquarters, disclosed that he had killed several people during the religious crisis in Jos, Plateau State. He revealed that whenever there is any religious crisis in the state, his undisclosed boss will give them guns to go to Plateau State and kill Christians. Yes. Barrister.
It is well. Well, the Christians in this country have had to go through a lot of persecution, which is synonymous with the Christian faith. But should we continue like that? Should we continue going through this in the hands of our so-called fellow citizens? The truth of the matter is, yesterday evening when we came back from work, my wife and I were watching a former Iranian political leader talk about the Quran. I think some of our Christian brothers from the north who share environmental proximity with these Muslims should come out and tell us, should educate us, should even read Quran since it's in Arabic or in a language so that we will understand the mindset of these people. From what that man was saying, you find out that most Muslims think we're not talking about the radicals. Most Muslims, a normal Muslim, that has read Quran over, because at the age of 9, most of them can recite it, can cram it. According to them, there are a lot of verses that say that you'll be doing Allah a great service if you kill Jews and Muslims and Christians. So, having said that, it is time we begin to, understand the mindset of our neighbors, of people we are sharing the same country with. Because we're always politicizing this. We're always thinking it's just an environmental hazard. This is no longer environmental. This is now a potential threat to extinction. And when you juxtapose it, in fact, the man said that Islam is a religion of anger. Because, yes, he even quoted as in the Quran. So what am I trying to say is, the church should have an approach. Thank God our present primate did most of his
ministry in the
north. So we should stop moving up and down. Let us stay where God has called us as ministers, and sit down and really have an interrogation on how to approach this. Something always tells me that the church in Nigeria has slept for a long time. Instead of going to evangelize these our brothers who had been misled into taking up arms against their fellow citizens in the name of doing service to Allah, we have not really done the proper evangelism. That's why they are now attacking us, because we have concentrated on money, prosperity, things that should be even added to us as members of the kingdom of God. We have made this a focal point. That's why we cannot even, just like Tinubu, was it Awolowo that said, if you fail to educate the children of the poor, their children, when they grow up, they will come and attack your own children. So that is, we have failed to evangelize these people. That's why they are now attacking us.
Well, without sounding being defensive, I don't think it's about failing, because a lot is being done by some missionary agencies in this country, even in the far north, even at the level of the Anglican Church. There is no state in the north that is not having presence of the Anglican Church, and almost every nook and cranny. But when it comes to evangelism, you have to do the work of talking to people, but the Holy Spirit will do the work of conviction. It is not like the other religion where you go with force and power and conquer. Whether the person likes it or not might join you. So what the Christians will have to continue to do, yes, evangelism, continue with the prayers, but the Holy Spirit will do the work of the conviction.
Are you blaming the Holy Spirit for not converting?
I am not blaming the Holy Spirit.
That's why I'm reading it. Because when you look at those churches in those places, like I have lived in the north briefly, found out that most of the churches in the north, peopled by those who are the foreigners who are living there with minor indigent, with little amount of indigents. Like if you go to, like where I stayed in, maybe you go to Portiscombe, you go to an average Catholic church at Portiscombe there, find out that more than 80% of the population of that church are residents from outside Yobe State. So what I'm trying to say is, you see, if it's not about planting church, what's the strategy for evangelizing people? You can't win people by singing hymns. There are ways of going about it. There are very evangelical ways of going about it. But maybe now they have been radical. They have radicalized, because what I'm talking about in the last 1990s, 1980s, early 2000s, when this radicalism had not really taken root, that's when we lost it. But we have to re-strategize. We have to reroute. You know,
I'm sure you should know about Capro. You should know about SU. You should know about so many other evangelism bodies. I can be very certain and sure that so much is being done, but more still needs to be done. Because if we just dismiss it like that, then we're not appreciating the effort of the missionaries that I'm aware who are in those places, who are being paid and all that.
We are not saying that they're not doing
it. I think looking from both your views, I think what I would say on this issue is, yes, the persecution will come.
Of course.
Persecution will come. That is sure. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
And so we should expect it. However, on the issue of evangelism and all that, and I think I understand with Barrister here that the focus has shifted from God to what God will give us. Yeah. And so even on an individual basis, now I'm not even talking about missionary agencies and people that have actually gone into the field. I'm even talking about on a day-to-day basis, what message are we preaching by our very lives, by our reactions to things around us. The truth about it is, on the average on the streets, you find Christians who are even more worldly than the unbelievers, whose only claim to Christianity is the fact that they attend church programs and they attend church. And when you have, I think I've made this quote here, DC Talk. It's and he said, the single cause of atheism, the single most important cause of atheism in the world is Christians who proclaim with their lips one thing and go out the door and do the absolute opposite. That is what an unbelieving world finds unbelievable.
Yeah, so I must say that we cannot totally condemn ourselves.
No, absolutely not.
Or feel guilty.
Well,
but then what I would say, what I would say is we could really take our focus off the things that have distracted us for so long. And we have also this thing. Now, the Christians in the north are being persecuted, sorely persecuted. You know, we've known even before this person has come to say, we see the statistics on a daily basis. And when you look at in a community, there was a clash, you find out that it's tilting more towards the Christians than the other parts. But The Christians that are not in the areas that are being persecuted don't even believe that such persecution is going on. So they are not praying. There's no support. So we're not condemning, no, we're saying we can do more and we should do more, both as individuals, as churches, as missionary outfits. When last was a missionary supported, by a family, okay, we're going to take this. So those are some of the things that we say that, yes, persecution will come.
Yeah.
But if we know that we're part of a body and the other part of the body that is not suffering affliction cannot come in to say, these are our brothers, this is what we're doing. This is what we are doing. We're praying with them. We're holding vigil with them.
Yeah. I think that before you say that, just know that the whole thing is based on the orientation of these two religions. The other religion have the orientation of anybody who is not part of you, is an unbeliever, is an infidel, he should be killed. Christianity have the mindset of peace. Slap here and turn here. They are not violent in nature and all that. But with all that has happened, one, evangelism must be intensified. Then secondly, Christians, gone are the days Christians will sit down and fold their arms for them to be killed. We are not advocating for violence, but you have to be, your eyes must be wide open. Know what is happening in your environment. See how you can protect yourself where it is necessary. Yes, sir.
Yes, briefly. You see, I think the problem is we are trying to solve a modern day problem with an olden day tool. We are trying to solve a modern day problem with an olden day tool, thinking that as it was in the beginning, it will continue to be in the end. Jesus Christ and the people like Apostle Paul, they didn't have cars. They trekked. So why are we still using the same tool of mass evangelism to talking about it, whereas we are using jetliners today? If you look at what Trump did, trying to bridge the gap, the enmity gap between the Jews and some Arab states, his son-in-law, what's his name again, came in with business, which reminds me of what the missionaries came. The missionaries, when they came in with hospitals, schools, incentives, things that you are not used to. Christianity, I think the Christians these days, whenever we talk of evangelism, we think it's all about going to preach to them, this, that. And now, because of their radical nature, they're not even allowing you, they can't even allow you to even preach. So why can't we re-strategize? Be more innovative. Build bridges, build as in create, just like Trump suggested, come up with companies, trade. That's why countries like Dubai, Jordan, they just bought into the peace treaty with Israel because of this innovative way of approaching things. I think the churches should be more creative. Now, President Abdullahi, sorry, the king of Jordan, Abdullahi, told Abdullah II, told his father's, I read his father's book, his biography. He talked about the way he solved most of these problems in his own country. I suggested it to Primate Oko, as in the former primate, when this thing was raging on.
Yeah.
What he did was, when all these radicals were coming up in Jordan, he did what his father did. He went to France, went to America, brought in Muslim scholars who came and de-radicalized these guys. Were sponsored to preach a balanced message of embracing modernization, embracing serving their God by having your family, having your children go to school, living in a modern civilized environment. And within a space of 3 years, Jordan became a peaceful country, even up till now. And nobody is talking about bringing any. All we are talking about is buying more arms to go and fight.
All the more.
Instead of being more innovative, more creative in solving the problem.
All right, so we have to move on.
Yes.
We have really done so much on this topic, this trending news. And I'm trusting God that those who have heard us, both religious and political leaders, will need to do something and think about bringing peace into our country so that this country will be better. Let's move on to Governor Otom, who said the day of reckoning is coming for those attacking me and Benue people. He said Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State have expressed optimism that those attacking him for voicing out criminal activities of suspected Fulani herdsmen will one day face nemesis of their actions. Okay, so that is that on today. So, Samuel Otom.
Well, I still don't believe in postponing what you should do today for other people. As this media outfit is a faith-based media outfit, and the Bible says that the heavens belongs to God, and the earth has He given to the children of men. It is our responsibility to manage this place. God will not come down to manage it for us. Governor Tom, fine, let him galvanize his colleague governors so that they find a way of going about things, just like the southern governors have started enacting laws. You can't just leave it for tomorrow for those who, all these things are just, for me,
wishful thinking.
Brinkmanship, wishful thinking.
But you should understand the angle he's coming
There
from.
is no angle he's coming from other than
Just
coming up with a strategy of how to solve this problem.
This is a man that have done so much to ensure no, we can't just say talking, sir. He has done so much. Are you aware he's even having vigilante groups and all that in his state to be able to enact the anti-open grazing law? So he has gone all along to even sign these things and all that.
That's correct.
And then he has also continued to talk. When you have your governor brothers who are not willing to listen to you because of politics, what you should sympathize with him is speaking from the angle of, I have done what I can do and nobody is doing anything. I leave it for posterity. Because he's going to finish his tenure soon.
He's not even leaving it for posterity. He's doing what the Hausas would call Alaya Isa. That is, God will judge.
God will judge.
And he said it, I will say it's well. God will help us.
I can't take it away from him. He has, from the records he has really
and then he says, God will judge us. I'm quoting him now. Okay. God will judge us. And because they want to be national chairman, they want to remain as ministers, they do press conferences.
You see, that is the problem.
They insult the people, walk on their graves, and across their dead bodies.
Even senators from his state are against him.
Watch my words.
George Akume,
sorry, not so
Say, watch my words. I serve the living God. That's how he ended that statement.
So I think that
he has really been one of the people that has been fearlessly vocal.
Yeah, I agree.
Talking, I think, is the first step. A lot of people are scared to talk. A lot of people have licked boots too much to talk. And he has been one that has been very vocal to say, this is the situation. This is where it is coming from.
Because within the North Central, how many governors?
No, he's the only one. He's the only one.
Yaya Bello is not interested.
No.
Kwara is not interested.
Plateau is not
interested. Is not interested. Plateau is not interested.
So he's just like the Daniel in the lion's den.
But you should galvanize them.
How? When people...
You have to re-strategize. If you're not talking,
we're out of time.
You re-strategize.
Yeah, so re-strategize. It's all right. Thank you so much for gracing our invitation today.
Thank you too.
We hope to have you more on our program. Thank you so much. Viewers, this is where we call it a day for today's program. And until we come your way again, same time, same station tomorrow, be a law-abiding citizen. Be vigilant. If you see something, say something, and always report criminal acts to the appropriate authority. And do good at all times. Do well also to register for your voter's card if you haven't. And if you have registered, do well to get yours. Be a card carrier of a political party and be ready to be actively involved in politics. Governance is for everybody and not some selected few. Remember, God is the ultimate protector and deliverer. Therefore, put your trust in Him. I am Smart Simon, and bye for now.